Hello and welcome to Frank's School. 6th year, 180th day, the last day of the year, first video. Mr. A, you need help. I heard that more than once. I want to say almost often. When I was teaching public school, when my students, my 7th and 8th grade students, would run into my teaching, the material I taught, the way I taught it, it was so new and so different that often they would say, kind of looking down, shaking their head, say, "You need help." You know, it was a way of actually getting away with a kind of a wisecrack. Often it was meant in a friendly way. Sometimes it was a way of kind of hiding behind that and saying something almost insubordinate or disrespectful. But in any case, I accepted. Yes, now you're right. Anyone who says that, yeah, I need help. It's true. And I'll come back to that because, you know, all the stuff that I've been doing, I can only go so far. There comes a point where I need help. Of course, they meant it in a different way. And I'll come back to that subject. The camera, I hope it's right this time. I don't know. You know, there's a case of I need help. A cameraman would be lovely. And it's kind of an irony in a way because I keep disappearing off the side. Well, my subject was that I was going into retirement. And I'm kind of withdrawing in a sense. I don't want to make too big a deal of that because I'm certainly going to go on with videos. It's just that idea that I'm not going to necessarily plan to finish out another 180 days in a 7th year. I don't know about that. I wanted to say about that. Another thing, this doesn't seem to have too much to do with it, but pergolas, I think that's the way you say it, and I think I understand what they are. These open frames that have plants growing on them. I plan to use pergolas in many places, not only for the plants and the shade or whatever, but also so that buildings can share their stiffness, their support. Same thing with fences. So I did want to mention that. What I mean by tentacles of Hydra in my head, well, when I was listing subjects or mentioning subjects that I intend to further pursue, I did a whole series called Hydra in My Head as I tried to sort out all these sources, the tributaries, you might say, of the river of my thoughts to change the image. Well, the tentacles keep going out, and I keep running into things that I want to research. And as I do, I'll certainly come back and report the places that I'm taking. Now, I wanted to mention that Thomas Hockling Hall is usable. I'm not so sure that E needs to be there. It is usable as a shop, and what a difference that is now. I actually have a big floor which I can make quite empty, and there I could build an entire folk hut inside Thomas Hockling Hall, and then take it out and use it for a performance of a Shakespearean play. It would take some cleaning out, but it's actually usable. And boy, does that make a difference. Little by little, this village, Frank's School, the Camp Ranch campus of Frank's School, is becoming usable. And ideally, it will then be able to reinforce itself. Things become easier. Things become more possible. The same is true of the Gasthaus, or the guest house, the Hockling guest house. For my animals, it's usable. The downstairs, and I always intend to have animals there. I even as a full-fledged guest house, I would have the animals, my farm animals, my goats, my horse, my cow, chickens, guinea, have them down in part of the lowest level, and that's where they are right now on this bitterly cold night. They're talking wind chills of -5 or -20 or something like that. You know, you think about animals out there, but they're out of the wind and they're somewhat sheltered. It's functioning right now. Boy, that also helps. And when the upstairs of it gets usable, as it should become so this year, I actually will be able to move my classroom out there, reposition my entire library, etc. Things get easier as I achieve these things. The folk huts, they go quickly. I had said at some point I've started 25 about, roughly, maybe start more. They go quickly. If I have help, one person to help speeds things up a lot, especially up as as it goes up to the roof level, because you're not climbing and going up and down all yourself. You can hand stuff up. And wood, you know, each faux cut takes about $300 worth of new wood, you know, not just the pallets. They go quickly. And I really hope that I have some of them finished. I expect I will, for spring planting of the roof. Not only the gardens, which are vast, you know, and they sort of are in a holding pattern in a sense. But no, that's not quite true. They keep developing, but the roof gardens, we'll see. In a sense, Frank School is finished. It's finished because its purpose never was to, in a sense, be finished. It's finished because it's functioning. It is a place for teach learning, which I have argued elsewhere that teaching and learning are the same process in my mind. And I have learned so much there, and it has taught me so much. So in a sense, I could say, hey, it's finished. The teaching learning can simply go on. Now, there is a changing climate of awareness. That has been quite different. And in a sense, there's a pun here, or a play on words, because there's changing climate awareness. Now, people, in general, know the term. They're aware of the idea. They're not as afraid, maybe, as they should be, but that has changed. So there's an awareness now of changing climate, but there's also a changing climate of awareness. People, that makes a difference. What I'm doing and what I have been saying and what I continue to say is not so out of the mainstream now. All right, now back to this idea of Mr. A, you need help. I do. And you're welcome to volunteer help. You'd be most welcome to volunteer help if you wanted to. I have help already. I have people helping me. Neighbors, actually. Family is still not really on board. But with changing, with the awareness, with the climate of changing awareness, they may come on board eventually. But neighbors and friends, yes, many, far and wide. I mean, I have offers of help from as far as Hong Kong, Michigan. It's Germany for a long time. I've had tremendous help. I have it already, but more is appearing. It's interesting because now on Facebook and stuff like that, people start mentioning that, hey, they'd like to see that, or oh man. And one guy said, if I could just find a way to keep from defaulting on my loans, I'd be there. Well, in any case, there is some help, but I would gladly take more. Field trips. Very ready to entertain field trips. Now, I did that when I was a public school teacher. I don't know how many times, 10 times, 10 times. I brought whole busloads of children here to show them stuff that at the time it was mostly to get them out of the school building in the springtime, to get them out onto a farm or into the woods or onto the mountain, or wading in the pond. I've done that already, but I could certainly do that a lot more. I'm ready for that. What do you call it? A porta potty. You know, I'll have to do something about that. But that's really not a problem. All right, and finally, I would say this: that if you would decide, and to those people who are thinking they would like to help, it would be an adventure of a lifetime, I think, because I don't know if anyone could really predict where it would go exactly, because it would be going into in a sense, a brave new world, or a brave old world. But one way or another, yeah, I need help, and I could use it. Bye for now.